From the depths of rot and decay they rise. The death god marches under sickened skies. With boils and blight they spread the pain. In Nurgle's name disease will reign. Rot and ruin, pestilence flows. With every breath the plague wind blows. Embrace the rot, let flesh decay. The death god comes, none can stay. From the depths of rot and decay they rise. The death god marches under sickened skies. With boils and blight they spread the pain. In Nurgle's name disease will reign. Rot and ruin, pestilence flows. With every breath the plague wind blows. Embrace the rot, let flesh decay. The death god comes, none can stay. Armored and filled with rusted blades, they laugh as cities wilt and fade. Where they tread, no life remains. Just hollow corpses, plague remains. Beneath the helm, cursed grin, for in death they shall begin. Rot and ruin, pestilence flows. With every breath the plague wind blows. Embrace the rot, let flesh decay. The death god comes, none can stay. Beneath the warp the souls are bound. To spread decay, to break the ground. Nurgle's gifts a putrid stain. A future where only disease remains. Rot and ruin, pestilence flows. With every breath the plague wind blows. Embrace the rot, let flesh decay. The death god comes, none can stay. The rot's rest, there's no escape. The death god seals your fate.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Disgustingly Resilient podcast and another episode, another live stream of the Plague Surgery. So it's good to see some people in the chat already, and yeah, I'm ready for another episode of looking through some of our members lists and having a look how people are getting on. How is the chat doing today? It's good to see a few is here, a few regular faces, some new faces, so it's nice to see everyone is doing well. Before we get into this, obviously maybe someone is new here. Hi, I'm Aiden. This is the stream where we basically go through our members, our Plague Marine members, the people who support the show. They post their lists in the Plague Surgery, of which we're gonna redo how we do it. We've got a plan now, so I'll go over that in a second. But we'll basically review the lists, go through them, and talk about any feedback we want to give in the list, any weaknesses we could see, or maybe people ask how to play it. We can do those kind of things and like ideas. So that'd be quite cool. First of all, thank you very much to Philistril. Sorry, I'm not very good at pronouncing stuff. Thank you very much for the one gifted membership there. Thank you so much, mate. I really appreciate that. So for those who don't know, our Plague Marines are our members that support our channel. It costs £3 a month, and when you become a Plague Marine, you get access to our Discord. Inside our Discord is this Plague Surgery channel, and in here is where you can post your lists for these kind of streams, where we go, basically, like I said, we're going to review, talk about them, and you can put some information in there. Let us know if you're going to a tournament. Is it for local, just fun play? Is it a silly list? All that kinds of stuff. So we'll obviously go through it. Sometimes it's me, sometimes it's Dave who can join me as well, but I mean, I'm always here for them. And yeah, we go through them the best we can. So just a quick note on that before we go forward. Obviously, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Thank you so much. But one thing we're going to notice, so we're going to approach it a bit differently. So we get a lot of posts in Plague Surgery, and sometimes, you know, we'll have to, like last week, Plague Surgery spot got took by a Chaos Pantheon stream. So we missed a week, which means that we have a massive backlog of Plague Surgery things, which is not nice for anyone because someone might get the list missed, which does happen, unfortunately, with a lot more list submissions than we have time to go through. So what we're thinking of doing going forward is, for the Plague members, we are going to lock the channel, and then about 48 hours, so 2 days before, we could do a Plague Surgery. So on like a Friday, for example, we're going to unlock the channel, and then you guys will put an announcement up saying the surgery is now open, guys, get your lists in. And then everyone can post the lists, and after those, then we'll lock it again. So basically, that way we don't have like a month, like 2 weeks that's potentially building up. It'll just be like 48 hours at a time. 48 hours should give everyone a chance to get a list in. And then when we do the stream, obviously we'll go through all the lists that have been posted, and that'll be a nice way to sort of keep it sort of a bit more not scheduled, what's the word I'm looking, organised, that's the word I'm looking for. So we might try to do that. Warvin just wants a 10-hour Plague Surgery stream. Oh, good lord, God help me. My throat would give up. But yeah, how is everyone in the chat before we get into the first list? So Tyler says, hey everyone, what's up? I'm working with my son on his Blood Angel Combat Patrol. He says hello and that he's excited to hang out. Hey man, how you doing? Good choice, I won't lie. I'm not a loyalist player, but Blood Angels are one of the better ones, so good choice on that box. It's a very cool, is it the new Combat Patrol with the Sanguinary Guard and the Assault Intercessors? If it is, that is pretty damn cool. The channel, yes, Cole, the channel will still be viewable when locked. You just won't be able to post in it. That's the idea anyway. So you can still look at it. You just can't thing it. You can't post in it while it's locked. We got, does Aiden need Natalie to lift him up to get on the toilet? Sometimes, yeah, it depends. If we brought my little potty along, I'm fine, but if we have to use the big boy toilet, I have to say uppies. We got, Dahalb, just got my Disgusting Resilient dice, absolutely love them. Hell yeah, I'm glad you enjoy them. I need to actually message everyone who wanted to do the share today, because I'm going to put that order on to get them sent across so we can save some money on the delivery stuff, which is pretty cool. He have a goofy grenade and he feels cool as hell. You respond. No worries, man. I'm glad he's feeling cool. I have a goofy grin too, mate. Don't you worry. So yeah, let's sort of get into this then, I suppose, before we go anywhere else. Hopefully you guys have got some hobby to do while you're listening along. I've been working on painting up some more Bubotic Weapon Plague Marines, because I don't actually have many of them painted. I only use heavy plague weapons normally, but I want to get some more. And I've got my Demon Prince I'm working on still, so obviously I won't be painting while I'm talking. It's my job to do the talking while you paint, but I do enjoy painting while listening to the odd stream. So, and if you are in the chat, we try to prioritize people who are in the chat currently. Again, when we do the lockdown, open up Plague Surgery thing, we'll try and get through them all. But right now, as it is, if you are in the chat and you've submitted a list, let me know and we can try and make sure we look at yours. It's just a great way because we can ask you questions, you can give us feedback, things like that. And obviously people in the chat, when we're looking at these and maybe I'm stuck for a choice or like suggesting some changes you think of something, spout it out in the chat, mate. Like I'm not God's gift to Death Guard. I don't have all the answers. Sometimes I miss something. Someone has a great suggestion and then boom, it clicks and we're all like, yeah, that's a good suggestion, that one. So we can all do this together. Plan to take Death Guard for the first time in 10th to Birmingham. Nice. You go take that. Take Death Guard there. When is the Birmingham last time? I can't quite remember when the day is. Got some Deathwing belt. Lancers are on the back burner. You keep those goddamn Lancers away from me, Mike Way. Evil things. Evil things. So we'll go here. We'll go with Corey. He posted this today. I have a submission this week. Yes, Chris Bailey. And also, if your name's the same as it is on the Discord, that's fine. If you have a different name on the Discord to your YouTube name, just make sure to let me know what your name on the Discord is, because obviously I won't be able to find you. So Corey saying, new list that I've had some success with, but the Brigand replaced Rotagus because he just wasn't worth the points. It's called Morty and Friends. So we've got double Biology Putrefier, rocking the Shambler enhancement, which is not something you actually see all too often. The -2 to be charged is pretty good, don't get me wrong, but I'm already thinking a bit confused because we got 2 squads of fight first, you kind of don't really care if you're getting charged if you have fights first. Now, obviously it can do some good things, like it's an even more of a deterrent to like not even bother trying to charge this, but that's 25 points I'd instantly potentially look at getting back. So we'll see on that one. Lot of Contagion with Deadly Pathogen, nice. Mortarion, nice. 2 5-man. Oh, okay, so 2 5-man Plague Marines, so it's only 5-mans. So we've got a 90. So this is interesting. You know, if you're having success with it, obviously, like, nice. I found this quite mad because you got potentially the 75-point guy here. That is potentially what, 135 points of character for a 90-point Plague Marine unit, which is a little bit like a lot of investment. Like, you're investing more in the characters than the actual unit. But I kind of see the appeal because you've got the full melee weapons. They're still going to sit on a point and be quite hard to deal with because even that 5-man squad, when you charge it, it's going to have fights first, and it's going to have like 9 heavy plague weapon attacks, followed by 8 bubonic weapon attacks, followed by another 8 plague knife attacks, which is actually like not too bad. Has Aiden mentioned the good news that happened just over now? Do you mean the Emperor's Children are all up for pre-order, Sam? Is that what you mean? Because I'm happy for you, Sam. Congratulations. Go get your sexy boys. So that's a question potentially you could ask yourself. Is that a lot of characters being invested just for some 5-mans? I always understand the point of having a single 5-man with a single squad with the buffs on it, with the fight first and the barrage fire, because it's just nice to deal with. But I'm a little worried that these could either A, just be shot to death, or B, again, with 2 of them, they could just charge both at the same time, which is, potentially a bit oof. We'll see. 2 rhinos, so they're in their own rhino each as well, so it's a bit more investment on the points. So it's quite expensive, quite a lot of investment for just a 5-man Plague Marine unit. We've got Death Guard Cultist, so 2 squads. 2 Predator Destructors. Again, really good tanks, still really super solid. Still happy to see these in the list. 1 squad Death Shard Terminators, a 3-man with a Lord of Contagion. Yep, really smashy. A Fetid Bloat Drone, a Fetid Bloat Drone, a Fetid Bloat Drone. Can't see the weapons on these, but again, Fetid Bloat Drones are, if I could take 4, I'd take 4. They're really, really good. We've got a big squad of 20 Poxwalkers by the looks of it at 100 points. So 20 Poxwalkers is going to be quite a lot of board space to take off. And then we've got a single Brigand bringing up the rear. So shooting firepower-wise, if these Bloat Drones have got like maybe 1 with a heavy blight launcher or something, Brigand, just 2 Destructors, that's quite a bit of shooting firepower. The bit that I'm struggling to see is the sort of, with the little 5-mans, and are they being used aggressively or defensively? Because if they're being used aggressively, you might... It depends what you want them to do, because if you're just trying to get them to flip an objective, you don't need all the characters. You can just rely on the 10 OC, and that would allow you to get like more go-wide things, like more demon engines, stuff like that. You could also potentially, if you're telling me like you're going to use one of these squads to just sit on your natural expansion objective and hold that with fights first and Shamble Rot, for example, then you could get away with 1 Rhino, because you just do the Rhino shuffle. You have the Rhino deployed. So this is the Rhino shuffle. You have your Rhino. There's a squad inside it, and you have another squad next to it when you deploy. The initial squad on turn 1 disembarks the Rhino, moves and advances onto the objective. Happy days. The second squad, before the Rhino moves next to the Rhino and embarks, and now the Rhino moves with the second squad in it. So that way you get to like basically have both squads benefit from a Rhino without having to bring 2 Rhinos along. So that's something you could also consider there to save 75 points on a Rhino. But you do have a good basis of things. You've got like, you've got a good shooting fire base with the Predator Destructors and the Brigand. Triple Bloat Drone, really good for forcing trades. You've still got a hard-hitting unit with the Death Shroud Terminators and the Lord of Contagion with Deadly Pathogen. It's very scary. I'm just not sure if I'm fully sold on how many points are invested inside these Plague Marine units. I think probably I would just go with one of these bare bones, or I would go one of these bare bones, and then so get rid of the characters and sum up for 1. Use the points to put the other one up to a 10-man, and then in the second 5-man, I would just keep the Biological Putrefier, unless you wanted to run it like a spray bus, in which case you could have this Fly of Foul Blight spawn still. I feel like the second squad, if it's going to be used like aggressively, can be done with just one of the characters. Like a Biological Putrefier in a 5-man's fine, because you get free grenade, you get crit 5s, it makes it trade up pretty hard. But I don't feel like you want to be putting 175 points potentially in a squad of 90-point Plague Marines. So that'd probably the first choice I'd make. It drop a Foul Blight spawn. Drop a Foul Blight one, that gives you 60 points there, which then lets you... You could probably drop a Rhino, crank one of these up to a 10-man, and then do the Rhino shuffle, and then you've got some extra points to play around with elsewhere. It's probably one thing I'd probably go for there. You can also drop Shamble Rot, that would do it. 25 there, so that gives you 85 points straight there. So you pretty much almost got your next 5 Plague Marines. Then you drop the Rhino, that gives you the 5, you have 70 left, and you can use that 70 to go get something else in your list. Even like a unit Chaos Spawn would be pretty decent at that point. Again, just something else cheap to throw forward with a unit of Cultists. Then you got lots of stuff to play upfield and sort of score points. Potentially even you can push the points a little bit more. You could potentially try and fit a Typhus in there if you drop Deadly Pathogen. Then you have the option of Typhus going solo to score, or being able to go into the 20 Poxwalkers and do the whole nonsense that you can do with that, where you basically check your opponent's damage output and you say, hey, here's 2 Poxwalkers on the middle objective, or 3 or whatever. And then they come out to shoot it, and then as soon as they shoot the first unit, you just pull the first 3. But if you don't bring enough things out to shoot it, you keep the 3 on the objective, and then Typhus starts regenerating, that kind of thing. Typhus is just good for making people make bad decisions like that. So yeah, but that's about all I'd really say for this one. Just again, just consider how many points you're putting into how little squads you actually have. Like a 5-man Plague Marine can be picked up pretty damn easily. So putting 100 and potentially 25 points of characters in a 5-man Plague Marine is a lot of potential to lose there. So just be aware of that. Okay, please take a look at my Devas list. I'm aiming for a big tournament with Flyblown host. Made 16-4 versus Imperial Guard with +1 to win and disembark yesterday. Very nice. Yeah, we'll go have a look at that. Hi Ellie, how you doing? It is. It's not even afternoon here, Ellie. It is evening at this point. It is 7:15. Quite late. What was the name again? It was Devas. There you are, Devas. I see you. I'm playing WTC based 5v5 tournament soon, so you're going teams, cool. And I thought I would take Flyblown Host to stop the heavy shooting opponents from scoring. I'm counting on something between 6-14 and 14-6. Okay, nice. Tell me what you think. 2 Death Guard Sorcerer and Terminator Armor, nice. Lord of Contagion, nice. Insectile Limitation, do like this. Mortarion, Tallyman, Typhus. Cultist Squad, 2 squads of Big Death Shroud, 1 squad of 3-man Death Shroud. Gonna guess that's where the Lord of Contagion's going. We've got 1 Fetid Bloat Drone with Plague Spitter, 2 Pathetic Blight Halls, 3 squads of 20 Poxwalkers, Beast of Nurgle, and Plague Bearers. Okay, so I actually really like this. I'm not gonna lie. Flyblown is great in teams, especially can do pretty well against stuff like Ynnari. One thing I am looking at here though is you've got the Tallyman, and I get the idea the Tallyman is just sit on home objective. And that's fine. But honestly here, because you've got the unit of cultists, and now we have Beasts of Nurgle, which also have Scout, I personally would probably drop the Tallyman and just bring a unit of Nurglings. Just because it means if you get first drop, you can guarantee you're getting your Scout off somewhere. Which is going to bring you a lot more value than the odd CP the Tallyman can bring. You've still got unit cultists that can just hold home, just spread out over it. Obviously, once it's been stickied by the Plague Bearers, if they start on the board, then that's even easier because they can spread out even more to block out more Deep Strike. The Fetid Bloat Drone's an interesting one. I don't mind it. It's still decent to have an Overwatch, annoying little threat. 2 Blight Halls, it seems fine. That seems about the right amount. It's just enough to be almost everywhere you need it for the -1 to be wounded stratagem. Death Shroud are just really good in this detachment. It's kind of like the best thing they do. And on WTC, as long as it's going to depend on your boards a lot. But if you get good boards, like pretty dense boards, and you get a good scout off, which again is why I kind of want you to take Infiltrators with a unit of Nurglings. Bonus points if you can try and find a way to make that a 6-man, that'd be even better because you can really spread that out. But I think that's the only thing I really want to see in here. Beasts of Nurgle are great. It's got Scout, synergizes well. I think the only thing that sticks out to me is the Tallyman, because Tallyman solo on home is interesting, but I tried it out, and sometimes you get CP, it's nice, but sometimes he makes you very lazy with your screening, and then you let a gap in, or, you know, if someone has indirect and they just have a free assassinate sat there the entire game for whenever they want to, like, draw it. Whereas just 10 cultists, just for 5 points more, kind of just, like, and you already got them in your list, you're not even having to do that. The Tallyman will occasionally give you a CP. Having ability to infiltrate will always guarantee you a scout of some form, unless someone's brought like a 20 Gene Stealer Cult brick and strings it out max coherency with infiltrate, which can happen, but again, the odds you run into that are a lot less, and you can obviously, because you're in teams, you can try and dodge that. And the last thing you want is to go against something like Ynnari, which you're really good against, and then use striking scorpions to deny every single scout. You need to make sure you at least get some scouts off. So a unit of Nurglings in this list, I genuinely think would go a lot further than the value the Tallyman would bring to you. Part of that, though, is a pretty damn good flyblown host list. Like, it's got all the bits you want to see. It's got the Beast of Nurgle's really, really good in it. You got the cultists, so you got something to hold home, because again, don't rely on the Soul Tallyman. 20 Poxwalkers that can all go and push forward. These are the most brutal thing in flyblown. They're so stupid. You got Typhus to join one of them. Death Shard are also just really, really good. And this is a list that can just generally score points and deny points. It's all it's about. When you say 14-6 and 16-4, that's about right. I don't think you're ever going to 20-0 someone. It doesn't really have the damage to do that. But if your job on the team is, like you say, to stop the heavy shooting armies, which again on WTC, if you get a good shooting board as well, if you get a good like defensive board, you will easily be able to get at least like six minimum points pretty damn easily. So if this has been your goal from your team, use the list here. I think just make that one change. Tallyman out, Nurglings in, just to make sure you always get Scout. Because that Scout's very powerful, you don't want to lose it. And then you're basically always guaranteed early points because you've got the Scout. You're going to go out, score secondaries, get on objectives early, sit there all game if you got to. Even if you don't move, you just go, cool, I'm going to sit on these objectives, I'll maths it up, and when I score my secondaries, I'm going to get 6 points out of this, or I'm going to get 10-10. That is more than what you're meant to do your job. So for the list design-wise, I really like that. It's really good. Like I said, that one small change, I think, just make sure you get your value out of your army with that one little change to Nurglings over a Tallyman. But yeah, part of that, really solid list, mate. Really, really solid. And it'll do well. It'll do well in teams. Practice versus Unari with it, because you can beat Unari pretty good with Flyblown Host. They do not like it, but just make sure you practice, because there's still a lot of bullshit they can do. So we got Hod Brain Dead. Hello everyone, new Plague Marine here. Hey, happy to have you, mate. I have also submitted a list review and would appreciate your feedback. It's the second to last in the Plague channel. So is it? So second class. So it's not Michael Bay. So it would have been posted probably before this one. So it's gonna be not Corey. We've done Corey. Is it Norrell or is it? So is it Norrell? Is it Nerrell? Sorry, is this you? Is this you, Nerrell? I'm gonna hope it is. Oh, yeah, just shove that 10-point enhancement on some person. I mean, it'll probably never matter, but, you know, it might. You never know. You might be able to tank a hazardous or something, yeah. Just do something like that. Cool, yeah, name's Nero on Discord. Excellent, yes. Cool. So go through yours. Hello, Kyle. How you doing? I plagued it. Okay, so I would appreciate a review of my take on Playstorm, playing on GW terrain. Thank. So we got Mortarion, Typhus, Biology Putrefier attached to one squad of Plague Marines, a Foul Blight Spawn attached to a squad. Now he's 75 points because he got Deadly Pathogen because you had 15 extra points. Okay, fair. I appreciate the honesty there. I was a bit like, why? But then you said 15 extra points. Yeah, fair enough. It's sometimes we make lists and it's hard. You're like some spare points. It's better than the droning. We'll say that for sure. It's better than the droning. So we've got okay. So we've got one in a 5-man squad with Fight First, and we've got one in the squad of the other squad with Battle Street Fight. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me keep going down here. So we've got Death Guard Cultists, Poxwalkers. So one of these to hold home, one to score objectives. That's fine. Death Guard Predator Destructor, yep, we like them. Fetid Bloat Drone, so 2 Fetid Bloat Drones, Plague Spit and Flesh Mower. Then we got Triple Plague, but Plague Burst Crawler, and then a Death Guard Rhino. Okay, so if we think about this in terms of comparing it to my Flyblown list, we are, my Plague Storm list, we are down a Bloat Drone, we are down a Carnivore, but we have up here we have gained a Typhus. We've also got an extra Plague Marine squad and 2 far better characters. Okay, so if we just think in terms of what was the role of the Carnival. The Carnival was there to rapid ingress and just run onto someone's primary worst case scenario. So you have another squad of 5 Plague Marines. I only had 1. My one was to sit on my natural expansion pretty much most game and just put 10 OC on it. You have 2. So that means you can pretty reliably throw one out onto your opponent's primary while the other one kind of holds your own. So Carnivore's job, not exactly done. Carnivore obviously a lot scary, but it kind of fills the same role. Now, we're down we got 1, 2, so we got 2 Plague Beast Crawlers with the Spitters, one with the Entry Cannon. So this one here, the Flesh Mower Drone, I don't know if you have any options for your weapons. It's fine if you don't, but don't worry about it. But I would prefer this personally to be either another Plague Spitter or a Heavy Blight Launcher. The Flesh Mower kind of just wants to run forward, and it's better in a pressure list. And Plague Storm's not so much a pressure list. It normally forces people out into bad positions and then shoots the shit out of them. A Flesh Mower Drone can kind of do that, but you're using it as bait almost. Imagine this is your fishing line. You've got your little bloat on the end. You're like, so you're throwing it out there to threaten something. They come out to shoot it. You just want to make sure that you're going to be able to shoot whatever's trying to shoot that back. Now, up here, if you do have potential to get a, so in this one here, I'm trying to think. So we need something to go forward and spread contagion. So you've got your cultists, you've got a squad of cultists, you've got 2 blow drones that can sort of play forward for contagion. So it's not the worst. I had the Icon Bearer, obviously, so you don't have an Icon Bearer here. But you also have another spare squad of 5-man Plague Marines you can throw out, which is fine. I don't know if here I actually would prefer to just run a 10-man. Because the 10-man fight first brick is... So you would lose the capacity to have unit to throw out, and you'd basically go on to just a cultist squad, which is not great. You could bring an MBH, to be fair. You could bring an Effective Blight Hauler. I actually, you know what? I'm Effective Blight Hauler over. I'm trying to think, would I prefer the 3rd drone / hauler over the 2nd 5-man Plague Marine squad? And I probably would. But at that point, then it becomes very hard to justify all of this for just Plague Marines. Do you get what I mean? So when it comes to Plague Storm Birchie, the melee isn't really the issue, because I mean, I had the Carnivore obviously, but when it comes in terms to melee of Plague Storm, you kind of just shoot your way out of situations because you've got a ton of flamers and Mortarion is around. Like, Mortarion doesn't tend to run forward. Mortarion tends to be a sort of backliner. It doesn't really tend to run into too many issues with melee. And the problem with the Flesh Mower Drone is it can't heroic either. If it could heroic, I'd like it a lot more. The Carnivore can heroic, so it's like, cool, you want to charge my Plague Beast Crawler? Go for it. I'll friggin' heroic him with a Carnivore and slap your 8-bound to shit. Whereas the problem with the Flesh Mower is it just has to kind of sit there and watch, unfortunately, because it doesn't have the walker keyword, which is a bit annoying. It's not awful. I'm okay with the Flesh Mower, but the drones are kind of the bait. And honestly, the drones are the bait. So having like another piece of bait in there, because the thing is, 5 Plague Marines, you can actually mathematically kill them quite easily. They're not the hardest to kill, so you can't really bait with Plague Marines because a lot of things can kill them. The Bloat Drone, however, is incredibly annoying to maths out to kill because it's T9, it's 10 wounds, it's got an invuln, and all it takes is like you expose a Lancer, and mathematically Lancer should probably kill the Bloat Drone. Then he spikes a 5-up, and then it's alive, and you're like, shit, didn't kill it. Now someone else has to come out and kill it. Or at that point you haven't, because you only put 1 out. Whereas with 5 Plague Marines, picking up even just the only T5 Marine bodies, picking up 5 Marine bodies is not hard really for anyone. So I actually prefer the Bloat Drones for baiting over the Plague Marine squad. So I would prefer a 3rd Demon Engine, honestly. But then the question becomes, what do we do with the character points? Because I wouldn't mind if you had a Mythic Blight Hauler in here. So if you had 2 Bloat Drones and a Mythic Blight Hauler, I'd also be fine with that. But then what do we do with the 175 points of characters here? Like, do we keep them in the 5-man squad? Do we split that up? Do we try and make one into like an Icon Bearer or something like that? Because again, Icon Bearer is good if you don't have tons of chaff to throw away. Like, so my initial reaction right now would be, this 5-man squad becomes another Demon Engine, either a Hauler or the Bloat Drone. One of these characters, probably the Foul Blight Spawn. Actually, no, it depends. If you want them to be defensive, the Foul Blight Spawn's fine to keep. I would probably drop the Biologus and put him into another squad of cultists. Because then you have 2 squads of cultists that you can mess around with to score things early. You've got 3 bait pieces and you've still got your 3 big tanks of each variety to sort of hit hard. That's probably where my head would be at that point. Then you still have a Plague Marine squad to flip primary at some point, which is quite nice. And I would just have the Foul Blight Spawn. I would mix up your weapons, and I would have 1 squad go full melee. I'd go bubotic on everything. So you put robotic on 2, heavy plague weapons on 3, and have that with a fight first, and that's the one that sits on your natural like home objective, and it's just like, cool, you want to come try and take this off me? I have fight first. I'll take a good chunk of you down with me, because you know you're still gonna have 9 power fist equivalent attacks, which will be potentially sustain 2 on an objective, and you'll fight first, which is more important at that point because you're still going to be defensive and you're going to get charged. I would rather have the fights first, so I think that's probably the only change I'd really make to it, mate. Though, to be honest, GW terrain is quite open, so the tanks were going to have some pretty good lines of fire, which is quite nice. I would just get another like bloat drone or a hauler for that second 5-man squad. Turn the 1 5-man squad you keep into pure melee. Just use that with a foul blight spawn to hold your home objective, and then turn this biology putrefier here into another squad of cultists. And then what you can do is, because you're going to be swapping out, if you do swap a plague marine out for the hauler, you can then upgrade your deadly pathogen to living plague, which don't worry, it's not the best thing, but at least you'll have a more better usable enhancement on that squad, because an extra 3-inch contagion range, not actually the worst thing in the world at that point, because then at some point you want to just chuck him out, or maybe you get a bad matchup where your opponent's got no melee, you're not going to get good use out of fight first, you can just chuck him in the rhino and just chuck him out almost like a pseudo icon bearer with a +3 contagion range. That's probably all I'd go for, though. It's a pretty good list. And you got, like you said, you got the core there. You've got you got demon engines. You've got the predators. You've got the plague burst crawlers. So it's a pretty good list. I think you'll be alright with it. I honestly think you'll be alright. Just remember, keep shooting, and remember to use the cultists, because that's why I want a second squad of cultists. They're there to score your action secondaries and just run out and probably get killed. Everything else, the free bloat drones or the demon engines, whatever you take, they're all bait. Complete and utter bait. Bait out your opponent's anti-tank. Once it's come out, get contagion on it by some means, whatever you need to do. Move advanced cultists with extended contagion from Mortarion. Kill the little anti-tank that they have. Once their anti-tank's dead, just send it all. Like, that's how Plague Storm wins. Once your opponent's out of resources to deal with your tanks, you just send it at them. You're just like, cool, you can now just no longer deal with this. Okay? But it's a good list. It's a good list, mate. Let us know how you get on as well. And as best of luck at your event, I hope you have a great time, mate. Excellent, Errol. Thank you so much. Right. Who have we got up next? Let me have a quick little sippy. I have a bag of Maltesers on my desk and Nat gave them me. And I may have munched on more than I thought, and I'm kind of worried I'm going to eat them all and she'll get very angry. So I ask you, chat, do I eat the last Maltesers? There's like, to be fair, there's 5 left. What is the adequate amount of Maltesers I can eat to not upset the missus? Out of 5, how many does she realistically need? Let me know, chat, because I'm going to eat them all otherwise. So, let's go down here. Okay, Michael Bay, Mr. Michael Bay. Mr. Michael Bay 33. None of them save them for her. Ellie just says, do it. Wow, I thought you'd be on team Nat, Ellie. Jeez. 0. Okay, Mike is well whipped. Mike is well. Eat 7 of the 5. My goodness. She needs 4. So I can have 1. I can have 1 more. If she hadn't had any, leave the rest for her. I think she's had the majority of them, but I still don't think that makes me safe. Bobby says just finish it. 4. Welcome to the Plague Surgery stream, where we debate the correct amount of Maltesers to leave for your missus. Let's have a look at Michael Bay's list here. Assholes. It was me. I set them up. I'm sorry. I set them up. It's not their fault. Don't yell at them. Okay, so we have, the list is called My Other Annihilator is a Lancer. Thanks. Love your Lancers so much. I hate them so much. So we've got Play Company again. A Death Guard Sorcerer with the droning, so someone had 10 points spare. We've got a Lord of Contagion with Deadly Pathogen. We've got Tallyman, Typhus. 2 squads of Cultist. Double Annihilator, so he really wants these to be Lancers, but he's trying his best. 6-man Death Shroud, 6-man Death Shroud. So that's going to be what? A Sorcerer for 1 and a Lord of Contagion for the other. Okay. Bloat Drone, Flesh Motor, Bloat Drone, Flesh Motor. Hauler, Plague Bus Call, Blaze Call. Ooh, okay, so we're going to triple. So I'm going to guess you're not tailoring, given that you're against Imperial Knights tomorrow. And you've took triple Plague Spear, so I respect that. I respect the hustle. You do have 2 Annihilators. So they're actually gonna knights can kind of struggle to kill Death Shroud just because they don't have many shots, and especially if you pop the mine. Please, if you get charged by a knight and he's got his flat damage 3 Warglaive, please pop the Death Guard Sorcerer and Terminator and the -1 damage and put him to damage 1. I just want to see the guy's soul break because that'll be real funny to tell him he's damage 1. That would be really really funny. Part of that, though, let's have a look. Dual Flesh Mode, they're okay into Imperial Knight. It's not my favourite thing, just because the strengths are a really weird profile, so they need 5s to wound. But you do get a lot of attacks, and they kind of look scarier than they actually are. Two Effect Blight Holes, nice cheap Demon Engine, can't go wrong with that. Triple Plague Bus Crawl, do we have a... So we don't have Mortarion in here. What were you debating? A Demon Prince with Wings. A Demon Prince with Wings is strength, what, 9? It's really expensive. I wouldn't recommend it. Demon Princes in general aren't great, but if you're going for a fun game, if you are going to take the Demon Prince with Wings, give him Deadly Pathogen because it puts him from strength at least strength 9. I think Demon Prince. So put him to strength 10, and then with the -1 toughness on the Armigers, they'll be it's T9 now. So you've literally gone mathematically. You've gone from 5s to 3s on wounding. So it's actually like if you're gonna bring a Demon Prince, Mike, he really wants to be always that guy. Okay, if you really want to bring a Demon Prince, Mike, just make sure you put in make sure you whack in the thingy on it, the Deadly Pathogen, so at least you wound it on the little dogs anyway on 3s. It's a lot better than 5s. Does mean your Lord of Contagion will lose it, but again, a Lord of Contagion in a 6-man Death Shroud squad will probably kill most things it touches. So if you do bring him along, I probably would do that. In this matchup, you probably could actually drop a Plague Burst Crawler for the Fire Demon Prince because, like, the Plague Burst Crawlers in this matchup aren't the greatest. Obviously, I don't want to tailor too much. Obviously, I know that's not your intention either. But if you wanted to just bring out the Demon Prince for some fun, bring him out. I mean, like, how many points are Winged Demon Princes these days? Let's have a quick check on the old phone. Yeah, I don't think he's a great unit, but like, you know, we're on the Codex roadmap. If we're gonna start being weird and trying weird things, this is the time. Like, no, like, in the nicest way, no one cares at the moment because we're getting our Codex like soon. We're on the roadmap, so. You know, try weird things. Try weird things. Death Guard Demon Prince. Oh, I spelled demon wrong because it's all weird. With wings. There we go. So he is... Oh, he's only strength 8. Oh my god, that's so bad. I thought they were strength 9. Strength 8. Oh, it's so painful. Okay, yeah, so it is wounded on shit. You're only wounded on 4s against the dogs. Oh, that is... Yikes. Wow, they are really bad, aren't they? Yeah, dev wounds, that's cute. Yay. That's kind of cute. I'm okay, I retract my statement. Please don't take the Demon Prince. That's so bad. Why is he only strength 8? Heavy Plague Weapons are strength 8. Oh, that's so sad. I mean, it's just a generic, like, good all-round Death Guard list. Like, you haven't got Mortarion in here, so you're being kind of nice there because Mortarion cannot just go and kill a lot of, like, War Dogs. Your Annihilators, honestly, are weirdly, like, meh in this matchup. Like, Predator Destructors would just probably be better because the problem is, like, the low amount of shots into, like, an Ion Shield. Now, obviously, I know, again, you're not taking the hardest thing ever that you could. I know what you could capable of taking, but they're fine. Like, they'll do an alright job, and they also, like, scare people way more than they should. We all know the Las Cannon theory, people are just way more scared. Yeah, I thought it would make him strength 10 Hugh, because then he'd wound War Dogs on 3s when you put them to T9 for being near you, but apparently our Demon Prince is incredibly weak. It is strength 10 on infected objective marker, that is true, so our entire strategy is going to rely on an infected objective marker here, Mike. We only fight on infected objective markers. I mean... It's a generic sort of all-round good Death Guard list. The triple Plague Burst Crawls are, like, quite expensive, but, like, they still do numbers. Like, you still get lethal hits on the Knights. You can bring them down. Imperial Knights tend to run a few big anyway. You shouldn't have more... yeah, he's more scared of destructors. Yeah, I thought he would be. They don't tend to run, like, as much War Dog spam or Helverin spam as Chaos Knights tend to do. They tend to at least have one big. It's usually, like, Canis and another big, and then Helverins. So, like... The lethal hits on the indirect can still chip away. They're only 3-up saves. You ever get a Boil Blight off, he's back to 4-up saves, and 2 damage a pop at a time. They can chip stuff down. So you've got plenty of go wide. So he's going to struggle to like trade well, because like if he sends out someone to kill one of these 85-point demon engines, and you then reply by smashing it over the head by either shooting it to death or melee it to death. You just do that a few times and you're in a good position. You'll be strong there to get a win. You got types as well. They do not like Morty Runes. Yeah. DM Prince's Chris Abbott. They really need that rework. Please, GW, please make him good again. I would like to run this brand new model. It's very cute. That'd be nice. He doesn't have a Demon Prince in the list at the moment. There is no Demon Prince in here. He was debating adding one for like a PBC or something. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to be like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. We're not doing that. Yeah, I mean, it looks solid, man. It looks solid. Like you got quite a lot of lethal hits and stuff. It's just going to be one of those where it's a really nice, fun game. This one, it's nothing too crazy. I want to know how your Annihilators get on though. There's nothing out here that I was like screaming to change. Like, you want my honest opinion? Again, drop the Tallyman with the drone in and get like another unit of like either Cultists or like 10 Poxwalkers. I don't like the Tallyman. Especially, oh, you're not against Chaos Knights. They don't have like, you can't just spam him with Havocs every turn and try and get him. But if you want a Tallyman to sit at home, you can do, I suppose. You really want that CP, you can. But yeah, it's a solid list, mate. It's solid. Flesh Mauls are fine. You're not going to get much better weapon against Knights, to be honest. Like, Heavy Light Launcher's okay. Just maybe, like, if you really wanted to, you could, like, say, like, one of these is at least Entropy. Do the whole 2-1 that I usually do split. Might help you out a little bit. Part of that, it's against Knights, innit? Just, as soon as like, a few of the little ones are dead, if they've got big ones, just take over the board. Or if you ever get a chance to rapid ingress onto a big one of these 5-man squads, 6-man squads, you're just going to annihilate it. So you'll be fine. I'm sure your continued pain will continue on for your friend who has never beat you with his Imperial Knights. I'm sure that won't change. Elodan, we've got doubles tournament. Okay. Elodan, are you in the chat right now, Mr. Elodan? If an Annihilator does more than 10 damage, you owe me... Okay, it has to do more than 10 damage in a single volley, okay? If you do more than 10 damage in a single volley, I will owe you a Cherry Aid, Mike, okay? Deal. Elodan, are you in the viewership at the moment? If you are, I'm obviously going to have some questions for your doubles list. The main one being, what is your partner? Because that actually kind of dictates quite a bit over what you're going to want to do and what you're going to take. So let me know if you are. If not, I'll give it a couple minutes while I debate these Maltesers again. And then we'll go from there. If you're not here, I'll just talk. Don't joke. I'm going to choke up with my wrong goal. You are, Phil. It is you, Phil Gagnon. Not dying on stream. We're good. Okay. Elodan, what is your doubles teammate? Hi, Limekiller, how you doing? Ellie, do they have Cherry Aid in the States? Is that like a thing? Yeah, they should have Cherry Aid in the States, surely. Kenton Evans, thanks so much for the tip of my T12 spam list. Went 4-1 at the GT and took away the best chaos. Hell yeah! Well done, Kenton. That's epic, mate. Only by 2 points lost as well. Oh man, gutted. I'm glad to know it worked and the advice went well. But again, my advice means nothing. You're the pilot. You're the one that took it all the way there. And congratulations on winning Best Chaos as well. That's fucking awesome, mate. Well done, man. Super stoked for you. Excellent. Cherry Aid is boss. Triple Forge Fiends, Last Can Havocs. Oh, lordy. Okay. So, if everyone in CSM... Okay. I have played a doubles tournament with my CSM partner, Sam. I'll tell you now, the biggest change I'm going to make to this list is not the list, it's this. I want you to, every single game, smack in -1 save, and then watch all of his AP4 las cannons with crit 6 lethal sustains whatevers, and all his Forge Fiends who go to like AP4, and just laugh. Like, the best thing you can bring to your teammate is the absurd damage. And to do that, I want to make sure you've got plenty of units that are going to be able to spread that. So you have 2 Fetid Bloat Drones, 2 squads of Cultists. That's a good start. That is a good start, generally. I personally, in my doubles list, I went a lot wider. Like, this is a big unit of 10 Plague Marines, and it's very expensive. Now, I really like Lord of Contagion with a Death Shroud Terminator. That is really good. Now, you say 3-man Death Shroud Terminators times 3. Do we have 3 squads of 3 Death Shroud Terminators here? Is that what we're looking at? We're looking at 3 squads of 3 Death Shroud Terminators. He has 3 units, and a Warriors. Okay. if this is 3-man squads of 3 Death Shroud Terminators, then I see 2 characters kind of makes you want to put a 6-man into the... I'd rather consolidate one into a 6-man and have a 6-man Death Shroud Sorcerer squad and a 3-man Lord of Contagion squad, because that Sorcerer squad with the -1 damage is going to be an absolute brick wall to protect your friend's Demon Engines from melee threats. So if you come against World Eaters, for example, World Eaters do not want to run into a unit that can heroic intervene with -1 damage on demand and absolutely smash into pieces. So that's going to be real nice. So I would consider just making a 6-man and a 3-man. Tie them up a little bit, which is quite nice. The big, you do have a Rhino, good. The one thing I might consider is, I mean, you have got this big, right, okay. That there, actually, that change there does actually do 2 things to this list. Now you have 2 horrendous anti-melee bricks. Typhus in there, oh, okay, we've got Typhus, okay. So, I think I actually still would rather have the 6-man. So hear me out. The reason being is if your teammate is most vulnerable to melee rundown. That is the most vulnerable thing, melee rushdown. So if you have on your side a 10-man fights first Plague Marine brick with lethal crits 5s, and then you have a 6-man Death Shroud with -1 damage, that is 2 of the scariest things a melee army can run into. Like, they do not want to go fight 6 Death Shroud with -1 damage and potentially -2 damage, and they sure as hell don't want to fight a fight first brick. That right there pretty much shows you up most of your melee matchups, because then you've still got 20 cultists, your teammate's got some cultists, so you've got plenty of screens as well. So basically you can have a position where you've screened the board, and the areas that aren't screened, his only choice is to charge either a fight first Plague Marine brick or a big 6-man Death Shroud with all the bells and whistles. If you're against a shooting army instead, those guys can go into reserves, the Death Shroud, and you can fight for space using all the cultists that you've got, and then they can rapid ingress and go be aggressive. The 10 Plague Marine brick is just always going to do well as a backline protector to those Forge Fiends, and if they're not melee rush down, they can just go and sit on an objective behind a wall and just be like, cool, we'll fight first, we've got loads of OC, come and dig us out. Typhus, again, so you have got Typhus as well. Typhus can flex in and out. So if you're against an army that has lots of mass damage 1 melee, you swap in Typhus instead of Lord in Terminator armor, because the -1 to hit is going to be better than the -1 damage at that point. If you are, I mean, if you're really in a matchup where it's like Demons, for example, then Typhus in the squad of 6-man with -weapon skill, ballistic skill is obviously horrendous to deal with, and again, really scary. But you can also put Typhus solo still. You can go score your points, and you've got plenty of cultists to score points with, so that's still going to be really good. So really, in this list I'm looking at right now, the only thing I'm really thinking for you to just change out is don't lock in your save here. Don't lock in your contagion. The one I want you to take the most is probably -1 save, and just let your CSM player do absurd amounts of damage, like disgusting amounts. Me and Saturn just like... We went against a full infiltrating army. It was Vanguard detachments of full infiltrating Phobos units, and his teammate was an Alpha Legion with all the infiltrating CSM. And they got turn 1, and they ran into all our screens and just basically was in front of us with like their entire army, like turn 1, because they're in their head they were like, we'll just pressure them and keep them on their side of the board. And at the end of our turn 1, after Sam's 2 Vindicators, Forge Fiend, and some other things shot, they were tabled. Like in 1 turn, we basically tabled them. It was fucking gross. So don't lock in your contagion to my weapon skill, ballistic skill. Be flexible. If you run into stuff that has lots of like armor saves, like Marines, trust me, just whack on -1 save and just obliterate people, because they're gonna armor contempt stuff. So having -1 save helps counter that, and then like Forge Fiends and Las Havocs are going to have enough high AP anyway, so it's going to punch through a lot of things, which is going to be great, but it's just way better to have AP4. AP4 Las Cannons, AP4 Plasma, it's always just better to take -1 save in those instances, because dead models deal no damage. But if you're against melee rushdown, you can, again, consider what you're against. Are you against melee rushdown that is going to hit you, and you can screen it out, in which case I'm still going to recommend -1 save, because they'll hit your screen, you fall back, you shoot them to death. And if they're all dead, there's nothing to be scared of then. Like, they're all dead. Whereas if you shoot them and you don't do as much damage, then, you know, ooh, they're still on top of you. So don't lock in your minus weapon skill, ballistic skill. Think about it properly. Think about what's going to be most beneficial. And honestly, that's the biggest improvement to your list. Part of that, I'd probably just make one of these squads a 6-man. Because a 10-man fight first brick and a 6-man brick just on the both flanks of the board or just protecting those demon engines, what a nightmare for a melee army to approach. And CSM with your -1 save, if you can spread it up with cultists or something, CSM's already one of the highest damage armies in the game thanks to Dark Packs. If you manage to, if your opponent can bring like a Hellbrute in his list and give them lethal 5s, sorry, lethal and crit, lethal and sustained on 6s, then you're gonna just like bowl people over. Like you will shoot something. Like Sam shot his Forge Fiend at a squad of 10. I think it was 10. I can't remember what it was. 10 assault intercessors plus Calgar, and because it's D3 plus 2 shots for every gun with blast, and he had lethal and crits, and he got like 5 6s, and that one Forge Fiend at AP4 just killed the entire fucking unit on its own. The guy was just stood there like, huh. It's like, huh, yeah, that happened. I don't think you have to cut one. I don't think you have to, because the thing is, again, because your teammate's taking all this demon stuff, having a deep strike character that can score stuff is just always going to be good. Solo Typhus is fine. Solo Terminator Sorcerer is fine. So Terminator Sorcerer is on a 40mm base. You can sneak him in many places. You can just deep strike in, do some action, score some points, and then, or you can just deep strike in and fire off his casino cannon. Like you don't have to cut a Terminator character. Just look at the matchup and go, do I need -1 damage here? Is that going to be useful? If no, Sorcerer goes solo. If yes, then Sorcerer stays in, Typhus goes solo. Easiest way to look at it. That is the easiest way to look at it. But yeah, part of that, it'll be a solid list, that, mate. I do like it. You got stuff to push forward. You got 2 massive bricks of like anti-melee, which is your teammate's biggest weakness. And yeah, just be there to basically protect his demon engines, hold some objectives, and spread contagion for him. And the CSM damage will do the rest. Okay? Awesome. Played a silly doubles game where I ran double Hellbrute just to throw -1 save for my Dark Angel partner. Yeah, it's gross, isn't it? When that -1 save connects to like important targets, it's absolutely gross. It is so nasty. It's just like, cool, we're gonna delete this unit now. How has it almost been an hour already? What the actual hell? We'll try and get one more in. Chris Bailey, is this your? Yeah, is this yours, Chris? I'm going to imagine this is yours, Chris Bailey, because your name in the chat is Chris Bailey. Please no die, I'm not on the clock. Wait, who's dying? Me? Am I dying? Or is Mike way dying? I'm so confused, I'm so scared. I feel like this is like an otherworldly presence lingering over my head. Lord of Contagion honestly goes with the 3-man. Because the 3-man... Lord of Contagion, Deadly Pathogen Squad hits just so hard. That's like look at it like a surgeon's tool. It's like a scalpel for you to remove a problem. Lord of Contagion does not need a 6-man squad because he just brings enough damage himself. 3-man squad, Lord of Contagion, and the Typhus and the Sorcerer debates the 6-man squad. Okay, Chris Bill, let's do yours then, last one tonight. Tried this list the other night against Chaos Knights. I scored decently and was able to wipe out almost all of the War Dogs, but he was able to bully me on Prime Rate. Yeah, they do that. And he went second. Learned a lot about deployment movement with Land Raider that would have made a big impact on position and scoring. Land Raider starts with 1x3 Death Shroud and a lot of Contagion, and the big player. But yeah, so you do the Zeto tech. Nice, like that. Okay. Right. So foul play, so. Yep, so we've got that. Deadly Pathogen. Right, okay. So, in this one here... Tallyman. Ooh, don't know how I feel about Tallyman, but I understand it. So, we've got 10-man Plague Marine Squad with Barrage Future Fire, Foul Blightspawn. So, you don't have the fight first on the big 10-man. Okay, so the 10-man has the Barrage Future Fire, I'm going to guess, and then the... 2 5-mans have the Foul Blightspawn. Okay. 2 seconds. Let me just grab some tea. I am back. Okay, so that's fine. We got that. A Rhino. So we got the Rhino to carry 2 5-mans in. The Lamb Raider to carry the big guys in. Fetid Bloat Drone. Right. So It's just the one Land Raider. Anything? Is there a Mortarion? Yes, there is a Mortarion. Right. So this is quite... This is a bit... all-in-y kind of pressure-y a bit here. So if we're going to do the all-in-y pressure kind of build, we have the Taliban holding home. We've got a cultist squad to run around with. So there's quite a lot of expensive bricks in here. You've got like you've got your big 10-man brick. You got your Land Raider, which in itself is almost a brick. It's got like 3. Limekiller. No worries. I see yours. Sorry. Are you on the Discord, Limekiller? Tag me in your own post and we'll cover it. We'll cover it before I go off. Don't worry. So we'll go with the. I'm just worried that it's like 1 too many bricks because Mortarian's here as well. It's 3 very expensive units. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I can still do job. You've still got another Death Shard Terminator squad in reserves by the looks of it. Rocking a... What character has he got? Typhus, I'm guessing. So Typhus in reserves, a lot of contagion. So I think on this one... See, Chaos Knights... When you can't beat Chaos Knights on primary... When you can't beat Chaos Knights on primary... You kind of have to be aggressive into them because Chaos Knights is a tempo army. So if the Chaos Knight gets to control the tempo, they're going to do exactly what they want to do. Because they can move through walls and stand on primary, you will just passively lose the game. Chaos Knights have an incredibly strong neutral game. Neutral game meaning if no one's particularly doing anything, who wins? And Chaos Knights generally tend to win that. If no one's doing anything, they'll win because they can just outflip your primary constantly all the time. So you need to be turbo aggressive, like against that with this list anyway. Normally what I do is wait for like 1 or 2 to come forward, try and get a good early kill on them, and then just try and snowball it into them. But you can't let them tempo it out. So in this instance, like you need to almost full send a lot of things. Like Mortarion here has to become almost a full sender himself. Brigands, you've just kind of got to hope you can, bounce the invuln. On Mortarion. Chaos Knights is an incredibly frustrating army to play against. It genuinely is. It's very, very annoying. But what you need to do is you need to have a turn where they bounce off something. And the one thing I want to try and sneak in here would be the 10-man Plague Marines is the probably thing that needs to like sneak in and do the most damage. If you can get an early pick off with a first turn charge from the Land Raiders, Lord of Contagion stuff, that's pretty good. The second 3-man doesn't usually have a leader. That's fine, because against Chaos Knights, though, I probably would put a leader in, because the Brigands don't have the Melter shots is like the scariest thing. Also, always go to ground versus Brigands, like, it's huge. Like, getting a 3-up save is very much more important than, like, getting a 4-up save versus the Gatling cannons. Always go to ground. Perfect Storm, he went second, his supplies a mission rule. Okay. So if you're locking up your Land Raider, that's just an action. That's just a deployment thing that you'll learn from then on. But honestly, your list is fine. I don't think it's a list issue. The 5-man Plague Marines are actually pretty good because the 5-man Plague Marines allow you to, again, in this aggression you're doing, sometimes you need to be aggressive into your opponent's like home objective. You want to push them there to make them react. But you still need to be denying them primary. And 5 Plague Marines, the 10 OC, does actually outdo a dog, thankfully. So having them there, I'm just going to be, honestly, in this matchup, I don't think I even put the Foul Blight Spawns in with the squads. Because they're only strength 8, you're hitting on 4s with 5s. Obviously, you got lethals, but you don't have crits. So in this matchup, I'm actually probably going to say detach. Keep the Foul Blight Spawns just driving around spraying stuff with the sprayers. And just have 5 Plague Marines jump out onto an objective and just be like, cool, I flipped you now. Because they're going to keep doing it to you. So the main thing you need to do is... Also, here's a trick for you. I'll show you one cheeky trick. Let me pull this up a second. Chaos Knight players don't want you to know this trick. Can I see paint? Why can't... There you go. Okay, cool. Okay. Chaos Knight players really don't like this one trick. It's like the meme, isn't it? There we go. Okay. So, we have objective, yeah? And then realistically, it kind of tends to go something like this. So there's a wall. And there's like another wall. So there's the objective. And on UKTC especially, normally you can get like a few Plague Marines. Like, you can go like 1. You can go like 2. Maybe if you're lucky, you can fit a third right in that corner in the wall. But you're going to about 6 OC on there. Stupid War Dog comes along and he's like, Bardome, 8 OC, I take this objective. Very annoying. So what I want you to do instead is to guarantee you at least get 1 turn of primary, at least 1. And when you get your cultists, and the cultists can be represented by these with this colour, and I want you to move that. So this is your fight first Plague Marine brick or whatever Plague Marine brick. Somewhat scary. It just has to be somewhat scary. And I want your cultists to run out, and I want your cultists to do this. I want your cultists to stand like this on the objective. Can I control C, control V? Nope, can't do that on thingy, of course. I want to stand like this on the objective. And they can come back a little in there, but I want them to not... So basically, I want them to make sure that the knight cannot stand on this objective. Okay? So what this means is that the knights have an option. So, if Mr. Knight... So big goes... He goes, I bet I'm the big scary knight. If he comes down... And he goes, oh, I can't walk onto this objective because I can't fly. Now, obviously, make sure there's not enough space to be able for him to do the walkthrough models. So put like your last model just like somewhere in the middle like that. So I've accidentally got him. So they got big chaos knight. Ooh, scary. So he's like, bugger, I cannot walk onto this and flip. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it is annoying. The stupid Havoc launches are a pain in the ass. But if you get first turn, for example, this is the one move I want you to do them. Because this is the only use you're going to get out your colours, because they'll just die otherwise. But if this is the one, if you get first turn, this is the one thing I want you to do with your colours. You run to your natural objective, you scout move, you move, and you advance. And you go like this in your natural objective. So he comes along, he's like, oh man, I really want to deny this primary, but I can't get onto this objective. So he goes, okay. At this point, he either shoots you off, in which case you're still holding it because the Plague Marines behind the wall are going to hold it. Excellent, cool, so we still hold primary. Or if he actually wants to get his OC on here, he'll have to charge. The only way he's going to do it is he's going to have to charge on, kill him, and then consolidate on. However, here's the fun bit. If he charges, boop, like that, this is now within 6 inches of your fight first Plague Marines, who then go, oh, that's very nice of you, good sir. I'm now going to heroically intervene this way. Because here's the thing as well. Cultist bases are not over an inch, which means you can actually fight through cultist bases, right? And the old ones, especially. But again, if you just space them out, just to make sure, you'll leave plenty of gaps. He comes in, you then heroic out, you swing with fight first on an infected objective marker, you will kill that War Dog. And your opponent looks real stupid now, because not only is he not shot the cultist, because the thing is, if he shoots the cultist, he has nothing to charge, so he can't get onto the objective. So he has to not shoot them, he has to charge them, which means then you heroic and kill him. And if he doesn't do that, and he just shoots them to death, he's not stood on the objective. So you hold the objective with these Plague Marines, you get points. If he charges him, you heroic, kill his knight, you get points, and the cultists live. You literally only win in this interaction here. So that's one little trick Chaos Knight players really don't want you to know. And it's really funny, because they really hate them. You can do it. You can do this with, it doesn't have to be cultists, you can do it with Plague Bearers, not Plague Bearers, sorry, Poxwalkers can do it. Like, honestly, just anything that is expendable, just shove on an objective like that, and just laugh as you put them in an awkward position where they have to decide which bullet they're going to eat. It's quite funny. So there you go. There's a little trick of the day for you. Ta-da! Let me just put this back to bigger here. The one trick Chaos Knight players don't want you to know. It's very true. There we go. There we go. Okay. So yeah, let me close my paint down. So yeah, but part of that, mate, it's all about just learning to play against Chaos Knights. You just got a tempo. You don't let them control the tempo of the game. You try your best to keep back. Your list looks fine, mate. Honestly, just again, the only thing I'm really going to think about is changing out keep the Foul Blight spawns detached in this matchup. Unless in that scenario, actually consider slamming one in with a 10-man Plague Marine squad to do that trick. Because fight first 10-man Plague Marine just means like you're immune to carnivores all game. So the only thing they've got to really worry about is the brigands. And again, if you can get the rest of your army to deal with the brigands, then these guys are basically untouchable unless they charge you with like multiple. But you can do your best to sort of mitigate that. And even then, because you fight first, you'll still take probably one of them down before the other one swings. So just be aware of that. It's just a matchup thing. I don't think your list's terrible for it. Like obviously the spitters aren't great into knights. It's just unfortunate thing you got to do. But knights are so weird in general because knights themselves should polarize an army. I don't like them. I don't think they should exist. I could tell you now like what to change this list to beat knights, but then you make your list worse against everything else because knights require like a very specific list to beat them. It's super frustrating. It's super lame. I am not a fan. But yeah, man. Honestly, your list seems fine. I wouldn't worry about it too much. I got to mention. So, right. Who are we looking for? Last one, Limekiller. Right. Cool. Right. Which one is your list, Limekiller? You're called Limekiller on here. There you are. So we'll get this one done. So we've got Mortarian, Typhus, Taliman. Then we got 10 Death Guard cultists, 10 more Death Guard cultists. So 20 cultists. Again, I like 2 squads of cultists. Always good. We've got 3 Death Shroud Terminators. So they're going to be going with Typhus, I'm going to assume. We've got a Defiler. We've got 2 Predator Destructors with the... Okay, so honestly, I know it sounds weird, but genuinely consider the Heavy Bolters. I've been having way more success with the Plague Heavy Bolters than the last cannons. So just beware. They're genuinely really good. Just beware of that. 2 buttons of Plague Spitters like that. And then you've got Plague Bus Crawl. Okay, yeah. So in this instance, because you've got the 2 entry cannons here, 100% make these Plague Heavy Bolters. That would be really good. Like, have Heavy Plague Heavy Bolters on here would make them... I know it sounds really weird, but every time I play heavy Plague Bolters, they do really well. They also Overwatch pretty well, because Sustained and Lethal are really good on Overwatch, especially against Elves, because the Elves will always pay the command point, or the whatever token, focus token, to ignore Overwatch near your Flamers. Yet the Dark Reapers are something that just shooting you from 24 inches away won't do it against the Predator, and then you're like, cool, I'm going to Overwatch, and that Heavy Bolter then kills like 3 of them, and you're like, cool, nice. Trust me, it catches him out quite a lot. So then you got Carnivore. I do really like the Carnivore. I really like this Carnivore in reserves. It is like super good in this like sort of Plague Stormy list. So it's got all the makings of a good Plague Storm list. You got a Defiler in there as well, which is actually not awful. I do actually quite like the Defiler. Specifically, the thing that happens in here as well. Nerdington Paints, thank you so much for coming to Plague Marine, mate. I really appreciate that as well. Once again, if you are Plague Marine, go to our YouTube channel homepage, go to the posts tab, and scroll down a bit. You'll find a link to get yourself in the Discord and enjoy all the fun. So, make sure that... So, here's a tip for everyone that plays Plague Storm. The best stratagem you have as Plague Storm is Boil Blight. If you are not using Boil Blight, every single turn when you're shooting, you're doing something wrong. Boil Blight on the Defiler is especially massive. -1 save and ignores cover on the Defiler cannon is really fucking good. And you've also got Twin Heavy Bolter there as well. The Defiler in here also is pretty nice in this Plague Storm because, as someone pointed out before, he doesn't have much melee. So having the Defiler, and again, this Defiler doesn't run forward. This Defiler is a shooting platform first, like the rest of the list, but it can defend the other tanks. And because it is a walker, it can heroically intervene. So make sure you remember that. If someone wants to come and pressure your Plague Burst Crawls or something like that, have the Defiler nearby. And because the Defiler doesn't have a base, it can technically engage in combat anywhere, which means technically, if I have this Plague Burst Crawler here, watch this bullshit. Plague Burst Crawler. So the Plague Burst Crawler is here, yeah? This is my enemy infantry. So enemy infantry comes to this side of the tank. If you have your Defiler's fucking Scourge sticking out like the motherfucker it is next to your tank, the Defiler can simply, on his 6-inch charge, pivot the 3 to spin and have the Defiler Scourge come over, because it hangs over because of the height of the Defiler, over the Plague Burst Crawler, and you can draw engagement range from the Scourge down. Because it doesn't have a base, so any part of the model is technically worthy of engagement range. You can charge it a Claw, you can charge the Scourge, it doesn't matter. So, fun little trick there that you can do with that stupid thing. It's a silly model, and it is daft rules, and yeah, so Defiler can do some pretty gross things. And then you get to swing and obviously punch it with giant claws, whilst being on the other side of a Plague Burst Crawler, because reasons. I don't know why. You just can do that. Because it doesn't have a hull. The hull is the entire thing now. There's no such thing as extra bits. It's not got a base. It's the hull. Don't know why. Yay. Yay for additions. This is a really solid list. Like you said, if you're just getting back into the game, did you put that one? Was that in the chat over here? Oh, Limekiller. I swear God, I read something about... Okay, I'm going loopy. I swear God, I just read something about someone quitting the game because they were coming back from... what you call it? Oh my God, I'm losing my goddamn... Oh no, he's actually... Whoa! Whew, okay, thank God. I'm actually entirely new to 40k, but played Fantasy from 3rd edition tonight. So you've got a really strong list here. So, have you bought this list? Have you gone out and bought this list yet? Do you own this list? Is my question to you, Lime. That's the only question I want to ask you right now. Because on paper, this is a really strong list right now. It was Lime. Thank God, I'm not going crazy, Bear. Thank you. I am not having. I have been doing work all this morning, and like you can clearly tell, it's taking a toll on me mentally. So that is my only question for you, Lime. Because if you have already gone and bought this list, it is actually pretty damn good, and you're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be a good time playing this list. Like genuinely, it's a strong, it's shooty, it's blasty. Again, as I said before, make sure you're using these Plague Spitter drones as your bait. These are your bait pieces here. The rest of it just shoots the crap out of absolutely anything. And the Carnivore plays in reserves quite a lot. Especially if you've got the Defiler as well, you don't need to have this guy work as a backliner, because the Defiler will cover that. So you can pretty much always go in reserves. Okay, so sticking on TTS, do that for now. The reason being that I'm not sure if we're still going to have access to Defiles after Codex. I don't know anything. I genuinely don't. But this is one model I'd be a little worried about. EC didn't get it. It doesn't mean we won't. But given the fact that we're on the roadmap, if you're just playing TTS now, I'm pretty happy to go out and buy most of this list. It'd just be the only Defiler would be the only thing I'd be like. And it's not because it's bad, it's very good. It's just I'm not sure if we're going to keep it in when our Codex comes along. So just beware of that. But yeah, this is a solid list, mate. A really solid Plague Storm style list. I like it quite a lot. Tallyman depends if you need him. If you have any extra points here, you could potentially go and grab like what? If you have an extra 5 point, I don't know if this is bang on 2k, then yeah, keep it as it is. But the Tallyman could also always become an icon bearer. Depends how you want to play. Tallyman gets you bonus CP. I like icon bearer for the absolute bullshit of just like running him forward, dropping the 12-inch contagion aura, and getting a turn 1 boil blight from a 3 plague burst scrolls to just indirect something off the board. But again, if you just want him to sit and hold home, there's nothing wrong with that either. And if you have a spare 5 points, I might consider getting 10 Poxwalkers instead, just because it's a bit of a safer unit to hold home. But if this is bang on 2k in the nose, which it probably is, then yeah, it may, honestly, from coming fantasy and entirely new to 40k, really strong solid Plague Storm list, really strong. I would be happy to play with this as well myself. Really, really good. Everything on there is good. Heavy Slugger, yep. So the Heavy Slugger you can also, so on this one here, this is the most min-maxing thing ever. The one with the Plague Spitters, run the Rot Hail, because this is the one you're most likely to Overwatch with. And if you Overwatch with this one, the Plague Spitters, because they auto hit, the Rot Hail has lethal hits, which means it just makes it anything that hits up with this Plague Burst Crawl, if it has the Rot Hail, automatically wounds on Overwatch, because the Mortar's lethal, the Rot Hail's lethal, and Plague Spears auto hit. So I know it sounds such min-maxy, but if this is going to be like an Overwatch threat, go all in on the Overwatch threat. So potentially just make that a Rot Hail. Part of that though, really, really solid list. Just swap them out for Heavy Bolters, probably on there. That's about all I'd really say, to be honest with you, mate. Part of that, super, super solid. Super solid. I like it. Really nice. Trying to think, is there anything else to say? Nope, like Plague Spitters. You can also run Heavy Blight launches on these. That's also fine, but Plague Spitters are also a really good and valid choice. But yeah, if the Tallyman's the extra points, that's totally fine, mate. So you can keep the Tallyman there. That is nothing wrong with that. You can actually play this list without Nurglings. You genuinely don't need them. I played it without Nurglings in my teams because I never felt like I missed them or wanted them. So you don't have to have Nurglings. So technically you could combine that with the 45 points per and get 80 points. And if there's something you can do with that, you know, like a unit of Chaos Spawn, something like that. Or, you know, a Lord of Contagion, and Typhus can go solo. But again, you still need something to start on your home objective. So honestly, what you took here is totally fine. Nurglings are still good. I just didn't feel like I needed them. But not getting locked in by Striking Scorpions turn 1 would also be very nice. So there's nothing wrong with taking the Nurglings. But it's a really, really good list line. Honestly, really, really good start. Keep playing on TTS. Let us know how it goes. Make those few weapon swaps. And yeah, let us know how you get on with it, mate. Honestly. But that about brings us to the end for tonight. So what we'll be doing is, like I said, from going on forward, we're going to be changing the way we do this. We're going to be, like I said, I'll be putting announcements up for when it's open and when it's closed, and we'll be covering the lists that get posted there. It's just an easy way for us to make sure everyone gets seen, and then everyone gets a chance to get the list reviewed, which would be quite nice. But for now, everybody, thank you everyone for tuning in for tonight. I shall leave you with some music. Dave and Will are going to be back on Tuesday. Obviously, they've been at Sheffield GT this weekend, so we're going to have their event review coming up, and that'll be quite cool to sort of see and hear how they got on. That'll be nice. Quick little review from those guys. Part of that, we are obviously getting closer now. We're on the roadmap. We're almost there. We're just going to hang in a little bit longer. So I might do another hobby stream, just painting up my last little bits that I've got, or a 10-hour stream as well. It says to be real, wants a 10-hour stream. And yeah, I think we're going to, obviously once the codex and stuff does come out, the channel's going to explode in content. It's just, again, it's a bit of a weird grace period. So I thank you sort of for sticking with me right now. I know there's not too many videos stuff going up. There's just a lot of streams. We'll keep the streams going. I do apologize for lack of videos. It's hard to make something at the moment just because of like the weird interim period we're in, because I don't want to make a video and it'd be like totally wasted. I have got some ideas for deployment stuff. I'm struggling with free time as well due to work at the moment because we're in a bit of a crazy period. But I will endeavour to try and get some more stuff out for you guys. But the streams 100% will be continuing, so do not worry about that. Part of that, that's about all for tonight. So thank you so much for everyone that tuned in. If you want to go check out any of our friends over at Vanguard Tactics, go check those out. If you want to pick up yourself some nice, disgustingly resilient dice, go to Baron of Dice and check those guys out. I'm not going to do the whole shield spiel, honestly. I'm not going to do it. But thank you to everyone that sort of tuned in tonight. Honestly, it's really nice to have all you guys in the chat and all engaging, and I hope coming to some of you listening. Nice to see some... I was supposed to leave for 3 months. I'm already back, you know. I just couldn't stay away for too long. It's nice to see you all here and all giving support still. But I am super excited for what is coming up for us, and I think we're going to have a good time. I think we're going to have a great time, and I can't wait for us all to bask in the glorious pages of our new codex together. It will be awesome. It's great, happy listeners, but take care. Yeah, I'm gonna literally go and I'm gonna probably paint a little bit and then just probably chill out. I should just do painting streams at some point, just hang out and chill with you guys. We should do that at some point. Maybe this week we'll do one. They are fun. Last time we were just talking about random English food. That was good fun. And for now, everybody, thank you so much. I will leave you with a tune on the way out. And until next time, stay rotten, everybody. Take care. And I'll catch you all on the next one. Bye-bye.
In the void, where the warp winds howl, a fleet once noble, now destined to fall. Great wardens stir, betrayal takes shape, Typhon's whispers, sealing their fate. Navigators lost to the shadowed lie, a fleet adrift beneath a darkened sky. The warp's cruel grasp, unyielding and tight, chaos awaits in the endless night. Whispers of power, a pestilent tide, Mortarian's pride, with nowhere to hide. The destroyer plague, a grim reward, Nurgle's laughter echoes aboard. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The death god transformed, never the same. Plague-born sons with torment they bled, shambling forth where angels fear to tread. Mortarian stands, his sons by his side. Through agony storm, their oaths collide. Grandfather's hand, the pact is sealed. The legion reborn, their fate revealed. Rise in the armor, rot in the soul. A Primarch remade, his heart grown cold. In terror's shadow, their war drums beat. Pestilent warriors, no chance of retreat. Through breach and ruin, their banners fly. With death's embrace, they'll never die. Lion's Gate, where hope was torn. Jagged eyes blade meets the playboy. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The death god transformed, never the same. Blade-born sons with torment they bled, shambling forth where angels fear to tread. Typhus herald, chaos born, Rotarian's wrath, the plague sworn. In the warp, their legacy thrives, eternal servants where corruption lies. Rotarians fall, Typhus ascends, the death god song, it never ends.